Hello and welcome to day 3, the penultimate day of the 44Cup Marina Jandia and the whole of the 2025 season here in the Atlantic waters of Fuerteventura. On the forecast today, we've got 15 to 22 knots from the east, very similar to yesterday and perhaps even a little more, which will come with another day of big swell and full-on racing. Let's see what's happening on the water. With 1 minute to go for the start of race 7 here in Fuerteventura. The overall picture for the regatta is Aleph leading by 1 point over Gamera, and they're 2 points ahead. There's Aleph there. Won the first race yesterday, then slipped back a little bit and let their rivals for the overall championship for the year, Gamera and Nika, who are 2 points further back, sail up into contention, get a little bit closer to them. To my untrained eye here, it looks a little bit smoother on the water, not quite as windy as yesterday so far. The breeze is expected to build though. Still lumpy enough that it's going to be challenging through the maneuvers. Crew work's going to be really important. A big bunch of boats up towards this committee boat end. Nika in a nice controlling position if they can get a good start there and just get bow forward in that group. They don't want to be too early though. Looking to try and get another good result in today like they did in the 2 bullets, the brace of bullets they got at the end of yesterday. They pull the bow up there. Looks like a pretty good start. They've got a boat close to leeward though. Charisma with a really nice start. Gamera with another great start at the committee boat end. And Aleph with not such a good start, having to tack off straight away. They would have been in dirty air and struggling to hold that lane straight away there. Looks like Lanzarote were a little bit early. They're having to go back and restart. And Nika already tacking off too. They weren't able to hold that lane. They had Team Aqua too close to leeward of them. They got pinched off. The right-hand side has been paying though, so we'll see if they do well up this first beat. And here we are already at the top mark. Artemis, who we talked about yesterday, they like these conditions. There's no doubt, upwind. We see them do well in these conditions. No doubt they like it. And I think we're going to see more of that today, just like yesterday. They'll be happy with their results yesterday. Bit of a mixed bag, but generally pretty good and always in the hunt. And I think we're going to see more of them featuring today. Second round there with bow number 27. That's the borrowed boat of Peninsula. They borrowed Black Star. Big crash in the last event in The Hague with Charisma T-boning them. I'm sure there's still tension between teams out there about that crash. But so generous of Black Star to have lent them the boat, and then Gamera going around there now. So they had a really nice, they've been so consistent so far in this regatta and looking really smooth. Again, a new team, and it's so rare to see new teams feature on podiums. Not only are they on the podium for this event, they're also sitting pretty in 3rd place for the whole season right now. Just behind them, we're going to talk about the connotations of the year as this day goes on. We're going to talk about the event and we're going to talk about the overall season. Aleph there, yeah, that sort of poor start they had, not a great spinnaker set there either. It was a little bit twisted. It shouldn't be like that really coming out in the first set. Let's see it pop though, not too bad. Off they go. Just to summarize how that is as we watch these boats come into the bottom mark here. Overall for the 2025 season, Team Nika will win unless Aleph finishes 5 places above them. Aleph will finish 2nd unless Gamera finishes 5 places above them, and Gamera will finish 3rd unless Artemis can finish 3 places above them. So at the moment, the way the standings are, it's all parity. Nika is set to win, Aleph's going to come 2nd, and Gamera's going to come 3rd. But with 6 more races to come, there is everything to play for. Artemis still leading the race, opting to go around that left-hand gate, and Peninsula Racing splitting gates. Big wide gate today. Splitting gates and heading to that right-hand side, not to sail around in the dirt. They were pretty close, having a nice race here, Peninsula. Charisma going around there. Gamera just ahead of them, so Gamera 3rd, Charisma 4th, pretty even there. And then Team Aqua. Oh, beg your pardon, that is the Turkish team. They have the same flag at the top as Team Aqua, so easy to get that wrong. Still learning the bow numbers. New guy here, so give us a bit of time, but I'll get it right. If all these teams could have the same bow numbers as they have sail numbers by the next event, that would make my life a lot easier, please. But we'll get better and better at it. On board here with Aleph Racing, you can see Yara there winding that runner up. Just like yesterday, they're going to need max runner all day long. A lot of work for the pitmen. Pitmen are some of the busiest guys on board all the crews here. Really working hard. You can see the guys max hiking all day today. That's really going to count. Everyone's on their number 2 jibs, suggesting that it's not too windy. Artemis still just hanging on to that lead, but they've got John Bassidoni's team, Peninsula Racing, Vasco Vascotto doing tactics right on their hammer. And electing to go a little bit high there, John Bassidoni's team. Haven't set the chute yet. Come on, guys, get that up. They're a little bit late. That's not a great set from them. They've given up, look how much distance they've given up. Great set on Artemis, and they're off to the races already. Strange that. I'm not quite sure why Peninsula's still going high, still haven't got the chute set. There's something wrong with the tack line. The tack's not on right now. They need to get that on. So just struggling a little bit with the crew work. And these very sort of gusty, lumpy conditions, the crew work is really key. The race course is fairly even, I would say. The tacticians, they've always got their work to do. That's why they're paid the big bucks, but it's less of a factor. Great footage on board there of Artemis Racing ploughing downwind. Get that forehatch there closed though, guys. I don't know. The string line might have pulled it open. The string line's pretty tight when you're on port tack with these boats, especially with what we call outside jibes, which you always have in these gustier conditions. So when they jibe, the clue goes right around. But there we go, Artemis really extending. Great top mark there, much better than Peninsula just behind them, and a really tidy finish. But yeah, crew work's going to be important. It's all about eking out the inches, always concentrating on boat speed. The trimmers, obviously, they're the engines, they're trimming the sails, they're the engines of the boat. But everyone on board can help with boat speed, and everything you should be doing at all times should be focused on boat speed. Obviously, you have maneuvers to do, but you've got to get straight back to, okay, what makes the boat fast? Where do I need to be on board? Gamera there with a beautiful second place. So that was a nice little gain on their last run for them. John Bassidoni's team just getting sucked back into the fleet a little bit, and that gave Charisma a nice third place there. And it looks like bow 10, so that's Nika. So a nice little job. So they obviously just worked through the ranks there. Again, sort of showing that championship form. Not a great first couple of legs, but the second couple of legs were obviously really good. They caught up quite a lot, and a nice little gap to the back 5 there. So you're sort of seeing the top teams, the creams kind of rising to the top. However, where is Aleph? It looks like they are just crossing the finish line now. Bow number 17, that's the Aleph boys. So that is not a good one. That's the 7th place for them. So consistent so far this regatta, or certainly our regatta leaders. They started brilliantly yesterday, and they looked great in these conditions, and then had an average race and not such a good one, and not such a good one now too. They would definitely be keeping an eye on Gamera, who got that 2nd place there, and that puts Gamera up into 1st place. Artemis Racing, they go up into 2nd, 25 points, and Aleph just sinking down, still well in contention. Only 1 place, 1 point ahead of Nika, so Nika will be very happy, securing a nice 4th there from whatever position they were at the first top mark. I think they were down at about 7th place, so a good comeback by them. But Aleph, a little bit of a shaky start for the first race. 28 seconds to the start of race 2, race 8 for the regatta. Only 5 more races to go, beg your pardon, in this regatta, and the final regatta of the year. Tension is building. We're getting towards the thin end of the wedge here. If you're going to make a move, these teams that need to pass each other to get better places for the year, this is the time to do it. Right now, as it stands, everything stays the same. The top 3 boats keep their positions, and the 4th boat, Artemis, won't be able to pass them. Really nice start if they've got it right here by Artemis. Fantastic start. They started well in the last race. They've been starting well this event. Sarah Gunderson sailing the boat today, one of the female helmsmen out there, the only female helmsman out there today. She does a great job. Not only is she the team manager, but she steps on board when Torbjorn can't drive, and they always do well with her, just as well with her as they do with Torbjorn. So not only is she managing the crew, but she can step on board and do a fantastic job as a helmsperson too. That has led to a really good first beat. They could dictate the whole fleet. They're in control, and they are going to round the top mark first again. Artemis looking really, really good, and again, they do like these conditions. I won't hark on about it too much, but you can see the results. That's the results of training, of testing, of modifications of sails over years, not just this year, They do a lot of testing at the start of the year, but not just over this year. They're always making developments, but this is years and years of development. God knows what number mainsail they'll be on there, and headsails every year. Obviously, you're changing the sails and developing new ones, and looking really, really sharp in these conditions. Once again, Team Artemis, huge lead by them. Their sister ship Gamera, the grey boat, just sitting one place behind them. So both Swedish teams are really strong right now, and obviously loving these conditions. Both teams did a lot of sailing and a lot of training together. Look at the acceleration Gamera got. They just got a puff and a nice little wave, and look how much they extended on Aqua, the blue on their kite just behind them. You can just see them to the left of the picture disappearing now. They're disappearing because they went so quick. They just took off, and that was fantastic. And a huge gaggle of boats just behind them, really neck and neck racing, close racing again, as you always get with the 44 Cup fleet. It's some of the best racing in the world, just boat on boat, excellent crews, really polished teams, fantastic conditions, really cool venues. And you can see the how close the racing is all the time. Every race, it's a pretty similar picture, especially when it's very open courses like that. What I did see at that top mark, again, was Aleph, also not looking so good again, buried again. So we talked about moving day. Obviously tomorrow, that's the big day. It's going to be hyped up. You know, we're going to know pretty much what each team needs to do to step it up and change places for the overalls for the 2025 season, and also, of course, just for the winning the chocolates for this event. Gamera, they're sitting pretty in second in this particular race, and Aleph are buried again. And Aleph do not want Gamera passing them in this for the overalls this year. They finished third last year, and they definitely want to step it up. They'd love to have a shot at the podium, but it's a big stretch for them to put 5 places on Nika as things stand right now, especially as the day they're having. They'll be looking to try and improve as they go. You can see Artemis are already up and around. Nice, tidy, fairly late drop. Everyone's not as conservative as yesterday, which suggests that there's a little bit less breeze. Bit of an untidy drop there on Aqua, though. You can just see the kite still trailing the water. They haven't got the tack off yet. They need to get that retrieved. It shouldn't trawl whilst the tack's still out of the water, but dragging a bit of the sail there and not tidy. You can see the boat's upright, the sails aren't trimmed on properly, the main's still out, and that's what bad maneuvers can cost you. You're just not prepped for going upwind. You want to get it tidied away, and that's why you drop a little bit more conservatively sometimes, just so that you make sure that everything is nicely trimmed on for the upwind and everyone's sitting where they are. You can see Aqua still haven't got the jib on, and the main's not quite in yet too, so that's what an untidy drop looks like. You're just fighting with everyone else all the time, just trying to get away from people and just get clear air and let the tactician go to the right side of the course that he feels or she feels is paying. And there you can see, talking to she's, there's Sarah Gunderson on the wheel. Another lovely drop, getting the jib down a little bit. Oh my goodness, look at the chute go. Oh, that is not good. Oh, that's a heartbreaker for them. Those guys are sailing so well at the moment. They're going to have to drop that chute. They'll get the other one ready as soon as possible, but they're going to lose a lot here. Oh, I don't know why that went. That shouldn't go in these conditions. It's not so windy. These kites should hang on there. Obviously, at the end of the season, these sails are getting a little bit more tired. Perhaps something happened in the drop where it got a nick in it, or something happened in the hoist. But that's unusual, and that's really hard for the guys. Look at the kites in the water a bit too. That's going to be slowing them down. They're trawling a little bit. They've got to get the whole thing in, connect all the halyards, the sheets, the tack line to the new sail, and get it hoisted. They can't really dive right now whilst they're sorting this stuff out too if they wanted to go the other way, and everyone is catching them up. Their sister ship Gamera has already passed them. This is the result for Gamera. They would have been this their sister ship. It's their teammates, but also their big rivals, the Swedish friends but Swedish enemies whenever they're out on the race course. You never want to see your adversaries have an incident like that, but it certainly helps things, and especially when it gives you a nice bullet like that for race 2 of the day. And another good result. They've been so consistent here so far, this regatta, looking really good. They are a new team. They've got Francesco Bruni, who is a fantastic tactician, very experienced in all types of racing, but also certainly this class. Nice little close finish here. That's Aqua with the blue on their kite, our side. But looks like Artemis just got inside them here. If they've picked up a third after shredding that chute at the top mark, which they have done there, that's actually a really nice recovery, and they should be proud of that. So great teamwork there, guys. Looks like that's Charisma, Bow 15, who just finished behind them in 4th place, and it was John Bassadoni also having another good race. Nice little tidy day today for those guys, and picking up the 5th. Oh, definitely worth a mention here. That is Nika crossing in 6th place there. So they've already had a 4th and a 6th today. That's 10 points. So just starting to rack up a few points. They'll be a little bit nervous about that. We saw how well they were sailing downwind in these similar conditions yesterday. I think a little bit more swell, but they looked really, really comfortable. And a bit of a surprise today, not quite as sharp as they were so far. But with the left having 2 7ths, Nika has actually jumped above them. But look at Gamera Racing. They've got a nice little 4-point lead over their teammates, Artemis Racing. So both Swedish teams at the top of the leaderboard right now. Here we are, 40 seconds to go for race 3. 4 more races to go for the whole season. And this is when all that hard work really starts to pay. All the training, all the testing, the coaching, the shore crew looking after the boat, polishing the boat, getting it ready, prepping it for each event, and then packing it away at the end of it, ready to ship. And long coaching debriefs. All that hard work by everyone who's involved in these teams. This is where it really starts to pay off. At the end of the season, this is the tip of the spear. Just 5 seconds to go. Who's that team? Wow, this end's really close. They're very close to the line. They've had an OCS already in this regatta. Hopefully they didn't get another one there. The jib's not trimmed on. Not a great start by them. Gamera will be happy if they can pinch them off, and which they have done. A really nice start again by Gamera. They're starting well. They do like to start up towards this committee boat end. They've got no one below them. That's really easy to hold that lane. No one can cross them on port tack right now, and they're in control of the whole fleet. So a great start. Artemis Racing, they're just above a little group below them. If they can hold on to that lane, which looks like they should have another reasonable start too. Gamera Racing, really making that start pay. Like I said, they controlled the fleet. They could go where they wanted, and they could also affect all the other boats as they came across. At some point, they got to tack on port, and they could decide what to do. They probably pinch someone off, and they could go exactly where they wanted, when they wanted, and really affect who they wanted with the other boats around them. Team Nika looking a little bit better in this race. This is what they need after a couple of shaky ones, just starting to rack up a few points. As I said, they need a good race in this one just to feel safe going into the last day of this event. They'll be less worried about trying to do well in this event. They want this season. That's what everyone remembers. Who won the 2025 season? Of course you want the plaudits, and you want to be picking up trophies for this event. We all want to win events, but it's all about who is the season winner. I can tell you who won last year is them. I know who won the 2 years. Oh, there goes another kite. Oh my goodness. So it's another one of the Swedish teams. It's Gamera leading the race again. What is going on with boats? Leading the race and blowing up spinnakers. Excuse me. So there is definitely something going on here. The breeze has built. It's fairly windy, but these chutes shouldn't be popping. And they'd already sailed a fair way from the mark, so there's no reason that thing should have gone. They've obviously just snagged it on something, maybe got a little rip, and that's what can make these things blow. Let's see if they can do a recovery as well as their other Swedish compatriots managed to do. And there is Artemis there. Look at one of the guys hanging off the shrouds, really trying to get the boat down. Jumping on the mast there to pull the kite up. I think that was Lele. That really helps the boat get down, helps the helmsman, helms lady in this case, to pull the boat down. Not having a great race though, looking at them, Artemis, but we got to see some great crew work there. Poor old Gamera still hasn't got that kite sorted out. So yeah, it's getting towards the end of the season. Maybe these chutes are getting a little bit tired. Maybe there's been a few repairs on the chute as the season goes on. They have to use those same 2 kites all season. And it's, wow, you've only got 2 more days for this thing to, for these kites to survive. And 2 of the teams, Artemis, the kites haven't survived. Maybe all that extra training has put a few more hours on those kites. I don't think it's that. I think it's just a bit of bad luck, maybe a little nick, something's caught something, a little repair here and there. And that's cost both these teams first places. They've done a reasonable job of recovering. They're still sitting in fourth place. Gamera, you can see the big G and E on the spinnaker there. Always easy to spot Gamera because of the nice grey hull. We talked about bow numbers and sail numbers matching would make things easy. If you guys could also all have different colour boats for next year, that would make things easier as well. But it's really good to see boats in these conditions. Looks like it's getting a little bit lighter to me. Looks like there's just a few less white caps on there. The boats aren't ripping quite as fast downwind. Nika has moved up into second place there. Really nice downwind by them. Someone's having a bad little drop going around the right hand mark here. We talk about the marks from looking upwind. Who was that? That was Charisma. Not a great. They've still got kite all over the boat. Looks like the tack line's stuck or something like that because the tack is still out in the prod. The prod is still out, and very messy little drop there. And look at Aleph. They're back there again. They are not having a good day. Fortunately for them, Gamera had that rip spinnaker, and Gamera's only just ahead of them. Otherwise, they would have been looking at Gamera just extending in this regatta and getting a little bit further ahead of them than they would like. They'd start to get nervous about that. Look how much Nika has gained since that bottom mark rounding. And here they are at the top mark, and they've extended even more. I mean, they're sailing in clear water there. Still a bit of lump around. As you can see, not as windy. Still hard work for everyone on board. The guys and girls, they're hiking it down there hard. You can see the bowman, Jero, moving forward there, prepping the kite. Prod goes out. You can stick the prod out nice and early when you haven't got boats around you. You can't do that if there's a boat right in front of you. The reason for that, the rules have that stipulation so that we don't have any incidents where the bowsprit is hitting the boat in front. Jerry just shuffles forward a little bit there. He's got to get that tack out as the bow comes down. That's going to go out to the end of the prod, and they'll start the hoist. They can definitely afford to be a little bit more conservative on this hoist. You definitely don't want to do anything silly. Nice hoist there. You can see the grind is working hard to get that kite to the top of the rig. No zips on the second hoist. You ease the jib right off onto the hobble, onto the short sheet, and boom, the kite sets and off they go. And that's a huge lead. It was nice to sort of talk them through that mark there. We had the time to do it because they were so far ahead. And Peninsula, doing well here. They're having a nice, we talked about them earlier, having a nice solid day in the Black Star boat. Again, very kindly lent to them by the Christian, the Black Star owner for this event. That's great camaraderie. Teams lending other teams' boats to do a whole regatta. How kind is that? Gamera sitting nicely there in fourth place after that broken spinnaker on the first run. Doing a nice job, just like Artemis did in the race before them. They'll be really disappointed because they had a nice lead on the fleet. Fair play to Nika. We talked about how comfortable they looked in the conditions yesterday, and the first two races today just wasn't their thing. Really nice game though by John Bassadonian team there in hole 27 on it's Black Star Racing's boat, but it's Team Peninsula's team. Vasco Vascotto, one of the best tacticians in the world, as so many of these boats do, as does Nika too with Nick Asher. They're getting a nice second place there. And Charisma, the champions from 2 years ago and the year before that too, having another nice day and also a nice result. A bit of a gap to the boats behind. Let's see who's there. That looks like it's Team Aqua. They've had a reasonable day, but today it was the days. Sorry, that's the Turkish team. So that's Team Wow. That's a really good job by them. Another new team into this. We talked about it a little bit, and they switch helmsmen. So today's helmsman, I've actually got it written down here, as they switch every day. Today's helmsman will be Mehmet. He does Friday and Saturday, and then Murat does Thursday and Sunday. And here we have the results. Fifth place by Gamera Racing, but they hang on to a lead, and they have a 5-point lead. Nice bullet by Team Nika. They'll be happy about that, and they sit 2 points now ahead of Artemis Racing, who although they had a 8th in that last race, They are sitting comfortably in 3rd place. But the story of the day is that Aleph had 3 7th places. That is really unlike them. That's a bad day. We heard Hugues Lepic talking about some of the challenges of yesterday. They've had them again today. It certainly sets things up interestingly for Gamera Racing and Aleph, and their duel for 2nd place for the season tomorrow.
Today we had some good wind, building the whole day. We started with 12-14 knots, then the second race was around 16, and then the last race was averaging 18 knots, gusting 20. Really nice, good waves, really challenging conditions. It was a good day for the Gamera team. We did 2 very good races at the beginning, 2nd and a 1st, and then the last race we finished 5th. We were leading the race at the top mark. Unfortunately, we blew up the kite on the hoist, but yeah, it's been a good day for us. We are leading the overall, and hopefully we will keep going well tomorrow.
Today was another enjoyable day sailing here on the island, and nice conditions, beautiful wind and sunny warm weather, and yeah, it was a tough racing day out there, but you know, it was a bit windier today, so a lot of nice rides downwind and a lot of hard work by the teams, and especially our team upwind. So yeah, it's a pleasure to sail here again.
A tough day. The conditions were obviously quite extreme, with a big swell, a lot of wind, but fun racing. You know, a few mistakes. But all in all, yeah, a pretty solid day. But the conditions were, you know, exactly what these boats are built for. You know, downwind, they're absolutely incredible. So yeah, a few stressful moments out there, but all in all, a good fun day.